Alright, so I recently filed 11 complaints against doctors in the Birmingham, Alabama area and some surrounding locations. And this involves mainly a misdiagnosed broken skull injury that I had and complications that arose from this injury, including massive infection and parasite infestation. And in the summer of 2019, I almost died from this. But I had to figure out what was wrong with me, like on my own, basically. And you know, thank God I was able to save my own life, because I went to like a ton of doctors, and they all came back and told me, you know, there was nothing wrong with me, pretty much. And this was a giant conundrum to me. So after I recovered, I had to go back and get all my original records and try to piece this thing together to find out, you know, what was going on. And what I found was it's unexplainable and it's unacceptable, these diagnoses and the excuses that these doctors came up with to explain my injury. And in some cases, this is after paying large amounts of money, cash. So, okay, I filed 11 complaints with Alabama State Board of Medical Examiners and Licensure Commission. If you go to a doctor in the state of Alabama, this is the sanctioning body that grants them the right to practice medicine in this state, in the United States. February 2021, I received this letter, and it was signed off on by Edwin Rogers, Chief Investigator, Alabama State Board of Medical Examiners, Office of Investigations. It says here, a complaint filed against Dr. Druhan, Ruff, Kelly, Zenus, Baird, Smith, Vanderpool, Thomas, Echenique, Savage, and Hudgens. It says, after careful consideration of applicable state law and administrative rules, and after a thorough review of the information he provided, the Alabama State Board of Medical Examiners has determined the allegations made against the above physicians cannot be substantiated. Thus, the board cannot find sufficient probable cause to proceed further into the investigation of your complaint. Consequently, the board is unable to take any action at this time. Alright, so what I'm going to do in this series of videos is I'm going to go into each complaint individually, and I'm going to cite my side of this. I'll give the evidence, because many of these complaints, it's not necessarily hearsay. It's not my opinion, because you know, I was angry that they misdiagnosed me, which I am. But this is besides the point. Many of my complaints, they're grounded in physical evidence. It's actually the product of these physicians. And what I'm talking about is it's image product, record entries by the physician's own hands. These are their own words, and I went back and got this stuff, and you know, I put everything together, and I was like, there's like a gigantic problem here. Alright, and I wouldn't have filed one complaint, let alone 11, if you know, I didn't think there was some merit behind this. This is Kyle Hudgens M.D. He's a neurologist with Grandview Neurology, and their location, it's off of Highway 280 in Birmingham. It used to be Health South. I was referred to Dr. Kyle Hudgens after a visit at AFC Parkway. And this is off of Robert Parkway. This is in Birmingham. Date was May 30th. This American Family Care AFC visit, and had an x-ray on my cervical area, my neck, because you know, at this point the pain, just as a layman, I felt like my neck was broken. And later on I found out it wasn't my neck, it was my skull. Base of the skull right next to where the vertebrae join up with the skull. I had an x-ray done here. You can see this x-ray. Look closely at the circled area, and you'll see there's a translucent, cloudy looking oval in this image. And this is the problem. Alright, these are the side effects of the main injury that went ignored and was covered up, and that's my broken skull. My skull, it turns out it was leaking, and it leaked cerebral spinal fluid, CSF fluid, and caused like a massive infection, and it drew out all kinds of nasty parasites. You know, who knows, because they didn't diagnose me correctly with this stuff. It was worms, bacteria, fungus. I have no idea, but yeah, you can see it in the pictures, and it was there. But yeah, you can see it in a standard X-ray picture, no contrast. So this is a very, very congealed, thick abnormality here in my neck, right next to my skull. And you can see it in another X-ray picture as well. Zoom in on this thing, look at it. If you know a doctor, or you have a friend who's knows something about neurology or head trauma, consult them. Show this stuff to them. Ask them their opinion. And you know what? They'll tell you I'm 100% right. So, okay, this translucent oval. Months later, I had an MRI scan done on this thing. And this was looked at by Michael Brant Ruff, St. Vincent's Ambulatory Healthcare Network. This was misdiagnosed. He did not note any abnormality in these MRI images, and it was this is baffling to me. You look at these pictures, you can see massive infection, which were identified by the nurse I went to in August, and the previous hospital emergency room visit that I went to. But you can see like how this injury evolved. Because it was misdiagnosed, mistreated, and mismanaged. They weren't honest with me about what was wrong with me. So this thing was allowed to grow, fester, and putrefy. It was a horrible experience, unbelievable pain. I felt like I was dying, and I think I almost did. But okay, you can see here that by August, this thing, there's something here in these pictures. It's black and it's round. And, you know, you tell me what this looks like. This is 3rd of August. This was with contrast. And this same area, the black oval, the cloudy, translucent oval in the standard X-ray picture. Okay, in these CT images, this looks like a type of insect. And what I felt when I had this problem, I had nightly attacks. Something was biting and stinging me in the inside of my neck. I could hear sounds like something was moving around. It was like watery sounds. I could hear squeaking, squirting, chirping. It was inside my neck. It was absolutely horrible, like something out of a horror movie. And you know, I went to all these doctors, pay them $300. I go in and they'd say, "Oh, you just got some neck strain." Well, I'm sorry, but that doesn't explain it. And that's the reason for the complaints here. Going back to AFC, they referred me to Neurologist Kyle Hudgens. Oh yeah, and if you want to see the details on this, you know, a lot of the stuff is rehashed information. Go to my YouTube channel, My Medical Nightmare. I've got over 6 hours video documentation in depth on this injury, and it's all the absolute utter nonsense that I've gone through trying to have this thing just diagnosed properly. I'm not even talking about trying to get it treated properly, because I can't get it treated properly if nobody will even acknowledge the injury.